If I told you that you don't need to dramatically change your life, but just be a little better than yesterday, would you believe me? Many people try to set big goals, then give up because they're too tired and overwhelmed. This video will help you understand why very small, almost insignificant changes each day can quietly create big results over time, and how you can start without waiting for the perfect motivation or conditions. Many of us share the same feeling, always busy, but life doesn't get much better. Each day passes with work, family, phone, social media, and by the end of the day, we just feel tired without knowing what progress we've made. When we want to change, we usually start very enthusiastically, setting many plans and big goals. But after a short time, that enthusiasm gradually disappears, and everything goes back to how it was before. Many people blame themselves for a lack of discipline, determination, or believe they aren't good enough to pursue something long-term. Others wait for the day they have enough motivation, time, and resources before starting. But the reality is that these things rarely happen all at once. When life is busy and stressful, relying on fleeting willpower or inspiration only makes us more likely to give up and remain stuck in the same old cycle without finding a way out. Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes That Change Your Life is a book by James Clear that discusses how very small habits can create big changes over time. The book doesn't offer confusing advice or complex theories, but focuses on relatable examples from everyday life. Because of its practicality, Atomic Habits is chosen by many people around the world who want to improve themselves sustainably. Step by step, and easily applicable. When we talk about change, we often think of major turning points, bold decisions, or very strong efforts in a short period of time. But the reality is that most changes in life come from very small things, happening quietly every day. A small action, if repeated long enough, will produce completely different results. Conversely, a seemingly insignificant bad habit, if maintained for a long time, can drag us down without us immediately realizing it. The hardest part about developing a habit isn't doing it, but waiting to see the results. In the beginning, progress is almost invisible. You wake up a few minutes earlier each day, do some light exercise, read a few pages, but life remains the same. It's this initial period of not seeing change that discourages many people and leads them to give up. But if you persevere long enough, at some point, the results will become clear. Like planting a tree, for a long time you only see the soil and seeds, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening underneath. Habits are the same, they need time to accumulate and take effect. Many people set very big goals for themselves, such as losing weight quickly, earning more money, or completely changing their lives in a short time. However, goals are just destinations, they don't help you take the steps along the way. Two people might want to achieve the same goal, but the results can be completely different, not because one is more determined, but because they have different daily habits. One person might say they want to be healthy, but if their daily habits include uncontrolled eating and little exercise, that desire is difficult to achieve. Another person might not talk much about their goal, but maintain small, consistent habits, such as eating a balanced diet and doing light exercise every day. And the results will come naturally. Instead of focusing solely on the final outcome, it's more important to build a suitable habit system. That system includes things you do every day, however small, but repeated consistently. When the system is right, results will come as a natural consequence. When the system is wrong, no matter how big the goal, you are likely to fail. This is why many people set very clear goals at the beginning of the year. But after a few months everything goes back to square one. Another crucial element in habit building is how you perceive yourself. If you only see an action as something you're trying to do, it's easy to give up. But if you see that action as a part of who you are, you're more likely to maintain it for the long term. When someone believes they are health conscious, they naturally choose actions that align with that belief. When someone believes they are a keen learner, reading or learning something new each day becomes easier because it aligns with how they see themselves. Every small action you take contributes to strengthening or weakening your self-image in your mind. It doesn't have to be perfect from the start, but each time you repeat a good habit, you're reminding yourself that you are that kind of person. Conversely, each time you skip or procrastinate, that image fades. Sustainable change doesn't come from forcing yourself, but from acting consistently with the person you want to become. To better understand how habits form, we need to look at how they operate in daily life. Every habit begins with a familiar signal, then a desire, then an action, and finally the feeling received after completion. For example, when you see your phone light up, you are curious and want to check it. You pick up the phone, and then feel satisfied because you have learned new information. This loop repeats itself so often that you do it without thinking. If you want to build a good habit, The first thing is to make it easily recognizable. When things that support the habit are placed right in front of you, it will be much easier to start. If you want to read a book, placing it in an easily visible place is more effective than leaving it in a drawer. If you want to exercise, having your workout clothes ready beforehand will help you avoid hesitation. The surrounding environment influences behavior more than we think, and rearranging the environment is a simple but effective way to change habits. Besides, emotions play a huge role. People tend to do things that bring them pleasure and avoid things that make them uncomfortable. Therefore, if a new habit is too burdensome or boring, it's difficult to maintain. When you combine the task you need to do with something you enjoy, the habit becomes easier. For example, listen to a favorite show while walking, or only allow yourself to watch entertainment after completing an important task. This helps create a positive feeling and makes you want to repeat the action. Another common mistake is starting too big. Many people want to change immediately, so they set very high expectations for themselves. This easily leads to quick fatigue and giving up. Instead, starting with the smallest version of the habit is much more effective. If you want to read a book, just read a few pages each day. If you want to exercise, just do light exercise for a few minutes. The goal of the initial stage isn't to achieve results, but to create the habit of starting. When starting becomes easy, you'll naturally do more over time. The feeling after completion is also crucial. If a habit doesn't bring a positive feeling, the brain won't want to repeat it. Tracking progress, marking completed days, or simply acknowledging your own efforts all help create a sense of satisfaction. This feeling doesn't need to be intense, just enough to show you're on the right track. Conversely, bad habits operate in a similar way. They exist not because we are weak, but because they are designed to be easy to break. When a bad habit is always present, easy to perform, and provides immediate satisfaction, it's difficult to give up. A more effective approach is to create distance between yourself and that habit. When performing it becomes more inconvenient, you'll have more time to think and choose a different path. An inevitable part of habit building is boredom. After a while, things become familiar and lose their initial excitement. Many people give up at this stage, not because the habit is ineffective, but because it no longer feels novel. But it's precisely persistence during those times that makes the difference. People who achieve long-term results aren't always motivated, they simply continue doing what they've committed to, even when they lack inspiration. Habits don't need to be perfect. There will be days when you don't do well, or you miss out. The important thing is not to let that drag on. When you return to the habit soon after, the sequence of actions is maintained. It's this persistence in small, repetitive things that creates big changes over time. Ultimately, habits are not just tools to achieve goals, but also a way to shape your life each day. What you do regularly will gradually become who you are. Once you understand that, building habits is no longer a burden, but a natural process, gradually leading you to the life you desire. Right after watching this video, you don't need to change too many things at once. The most important thing is to choose one small habit that you truly want to maintain. It could be reading a few pages a day, taking a short walk after dinner, or spending a few minutes organizing your work for tomorrow. Start at a level so simple that you have no reason to refuse. Next, adjust your surroundings to make the habit easier to establish. Place essentials in easily accessible locations and minimize distractions. Once it starts, you won't need to push yourself too hard. Just complete the habit once a day and acknowledge your efforts. Don't focus too much on immediate results, as real change takes time. If you don't do well or miss a day, it doesn't mean failure. The important thing is that you try again the next day. Before concluding, take a moment to reflect on yourself and think about a small habit you can start today. It doesn't have to be perfect, just start and maintain it consistently. If you found the information in this video helpful, please like it to support the channel and help this content reach more people. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos, where we continue to summarize great books and simple ideas to improve your life every day. If you want to understand more about how to change your mindset, build good habits, and live more proactively, the next video suggested below will be a suitable choice. Thank you for listening until the end, and see you in the next video.